Hey everybody, it's Mike back with another Q&A video. One of the common questions I get on my YouTube channel is where's your endocrine videos or where's your microbiome videos? And like I said, I don't make videos anymore, so those videos are non-existent. They don't exist. I'm very sorry. You have to use other resources for those. And that brings me to my next topic. Another common question I get is what's your recommended microbiome resource? That's a subject a lot of students struggle with. My go-to resource for microbiome is Sketchy Micro. Sketchy Micro. For those that don't know what it is, Sketchy Micro, they draw pictures and kind of use pictures to reinforce microbiome facts. And they really stick with you because the pictures are really elaborate and really creative. They really stick with me in particular. Even as a fourth year, even after taking step 2, I still use things I remember from Sketchy Micro a few years ago. That's how good it is. Now, a follow-up question is Sketchy Micro enough for microbiome? And the answer to that is no. You should still go over the section in first aid. It's a very dense section. I remember how much it sucked back when I was studying for step 1, but it's a very important section. There's some facts in there that's not covered by Sketchy Micro. So you're gonna go over those facts, and Sketchy Micro actually makes going over those facts a little easier. If you see Staph aureus and all these facts about Staph aureus, you're thinking, how am I gonna remember this? I'm gonna have to make flashcards and do Anki forever. But if you've done Sketchy Micro, you'll say, oh, I know these facts, next page. Oh, I know these facts, next page. It makes going through the chapter that much faster. So Sketchy Micro plus first aid is my go-to resource for microbiome, and honestly, that's all you need. This is not a paid endorsement. I don't know the people that make Sketchy Micro, but I just really like the resource, okay? Another question for this video I got was from my Instagram. A guy wrote me and said, I've been studying for X amount of months, which is a pretty long time. I usually recommend 4 to 6 weeks for studying for this step, but some people study longer. I've gone over UWorld X amount of times, gone over first aid X amount of times. I'm thinking, good, well, you're doing great. He says, I want to do general surgery and I want a goal of 240. And I said, okay. And he says, I took a practice exam and I got into 240s. Took another one, got into 240s. And I'm thinking to myself, is this guy just trying to brag? What is he trying to tell me? Everything seems to be going fine. And then he says, and then I took a practice exam and I got a 230. Now I'm freaking out. What should I do? And his plan was to finish up another Q bank, study for 8 more weeks, which again is like twice as long as I usually recommend, and try and get that score back up. All right, the first thing I told him was, I would have taken the test already. Now, why did I tell him that? Well, there's a couple reasons why. One, you already hit your goal score. All right, so you should have already taken the test already because you're in your range. Second, you don't need a 240 for general surgery. Everybody gets this inflated idea of what their score has to be. Everyone wants 250, 260. Then you ask them, what do you want to do? I want to do pediatrics. You don't need a 240 for pediatrics. You don't need a 230 for pediatrics. Honestly, you don't need a 220. Some people don't get 210s. Some people barely pass and get into pediatrics, even as an IMG or an FMG. So everybody has this inflated score that they want to hit, that they need to hit. That's just an inflated score. You don't need that. And besides, you already hit that, so you should already taken the test already. And now another reason, probably the most important reason why I tell people they should already take the score is, here's the natural progression of things. When you study for the step, when you start studying, you'll realize the more you know, the more you study, the more your score will go up. All right? However, your score will hit this kind of plateau, And this plateau is what your score will be, okay? That's what your score will be. Now, everybody, again, wants that 260. We're not all gonna get 260s. Statistically speaking, less than 1% probably will get that 260. You're usually gonna fall under that, 250, 240, 230. That's okay. Now people panic and say, I don't want a 230, I want a 250. Again, this isn't gonna go up forever. You don't just say, I'm gonna keep studying and this will go up forever, because that doesn't make sense. Everybody then would get a 250, 260 if they just went up forever. No. It hits a plateau and that will be your score. And if you study more, you'll find out something. It won't go up. In fact, it'll go down. Why does it go down? Because you start getting fatigued. You start getting burnt out. You start forgetting the stuff you started memorizing in week 1. So your score will actually go down. And that's why I told him you should have taken this test already. Now, a lot of people don't know this fact, and so they think, okay, if I keep studying, I'll keep going up. Doesn't happen. All right? They're not going to suddenly unlock new knowledge and bounce up to a 250. No, doesn't happen. And their score keeps going down. They keep panicking. Sometimes they postpone the test. Sometimes they never even take the test. See it all the time. And that's why studying less can actually give you a better score. Okay? So how do you know when to take the test and when not to? Well, you certainly don't want to take it when you're rising, right? So you take all these practice exams, you see that your score is going up and up and up. Good, good. Sometimes you might have an off day and it might take a little dip, but if you take another exam, it'll keep going up, and then you'll start hitting that plateau. You'll start hitting that plateau. Your next practice exam will be around in that plateau, and then you'll start to dive. And that's when you know, all right, I gotta jump ship. That's when you know that's when I gotta take the test. And that's exactly what I think was happening to that gentleman. All right? And that's why I say sometimes it's better to study less, and that can give you a better score. All right, if you have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, message me on Instagram, get back to you next week.